Welcome to the Bursar's Office PeopleSoft training. Our goal with this video training is to provide a video narration on how to create deposits and navigate the PeopleSoft system. I encourage you to review the included PeopleSoft guide and documents for additional assistance when creating and modifying deposits. Before we dive into creating a deposit, we must understand the documents related. The first document we review is the PeopleSoft Finance Access Form. This form may be found on the university website by searching PeopleSoft Finance Access. Please complete the Employee Affiliate Contact Information section as well as select the requested update for Department Depositor role. Please read and review the Statement of User Responsibility and acquire the appropriate signatures. Once your form is complete, you may email pssecure@mailbox.sc.edu from the top of the form. Our second document to become familiar with is the FINA 4.10, Administration and Finance Receipt and Handling of University Payments Policies and Procedures. We won't go over the document in its entirety during this training, but I do recommend becoming familiar with its contents before processing, collecting, and receiving funds. Under university and state regulations, departments receiving payments on behalf of the university are responsible for ensuring adequate control procedures are in place to secure the collection and proper receipt of monies. For purposes of this policy, the term monies include coin, currency, check, money orders, and credit card information. There is a lot of important information in this document that must be read and understood to ensure proper processing. We will not go through the entire document at this time, but I will highlight key points. A few key policies and procedures. All receipts must be accounted for at all times. The original receipt, yellow copy, is issued to the individual from whom the fee is collected. The second copy, pink copy, of the receipt is scanned in sequential order and attached via the PeopleSoft deposit process, along with other supporting documentation. Step-by-step procedures may be obtained in the Bursar's office. The third copy, blue copy, of the receipt is retained within the department. Safeguarding revenue and receipts prior to deposit is the responsibility of the department. All coins, currency, checks, money orders, and credit card information must be retained in a locked fireproof cabinet or safe until the deposit is made. For cardholder data, refer to FINA 4.11 and the supporting procedures and standards available in the Bursar's office. For proper internal control, only the department head or staff members authorized to receive funds will collect and handle fund payments. Immediately notify the Bursar's office when personnel changes is made. Check, money orders, credit card payments, regardless of function, must always be made payable to the University of South Carolina or USC. Checks, money orders, and credit cards cannot be made payable to projects, seminars, conferences, clinics, or any other such entities. Restrictively endorsed, stamped for deposit only, all checks and money orders immediately upon receipt. Authorized receiving areas will be issued a restrictive endorsement stamp stating for deposit only with the department name and information. The restrictive endorsement serves as protection against loss or stolen items. A stamp with this information may be requested from the Bursar's office. Warning: if any person delivering a deposit to the Bursar's office should take adequate precautions for their personal security and safety. Do not send cash through the mail. Departments that are authorized and approved as receiving areas must make deposits to the Bursar's office within the time period specified below. When the accumulated amount receipted totals $50 or more, the deposit must be made no later than the following business day. When the accumulated amount receipted are less than $50, deposits within 1 week time period. Due to the risk of loss or theft, funds should not be retained by any department unnecessarily. Departmental depositors must obtain proper training offered by the Bursar's office. The schedule may be viewed at the link below. Departments may contact the Bursar's office to request training and/or inquire about scheduled sessions. All deposits must be completed via PeopleSoft deposit process. Detailed information regarding the steps, processes, and best practices are provided in the training sessions as documented by the Bursar's office. A few things about your deposits when mail and delivering them. Never mail cash. All cash receipts must be delivered to the Bursar's office in person. Deposits containing only checks and credit card payments may be mailed. Detailed instructions are provided by the Bursar's office. All deposits received by the Bursar's office will be verified and issued a receipt. If you fail to receive a receipt within 3 to 5 business days from the date of the deposit, notify the Bursar's office. If your deposit is over or short, you will be immediately notified by the Bursar's office. Please become familiar with all the full administration, finance, receipt, and handling of the university payments policies and procedures. If you ever have any questions, you are welcome to reach out to the Bursar's office at any time for assistance. Our next document to familiarize yourself with is the deposit transmittal. This form is what you are creating to provide the Bursar's office in PeopleSoft. This form provides a physical copy of the information you have created. Next, you will see an example of the treasurer form, once called the green form. This form is used to document credit card tender amounts received for your deposit. Not all departments will require this form, but those that have received credit card payments are required to provide 2 copies of this form, plus closeout slips attached. Treasurer forms must include the amounts by the card type, department name, total, and who prepared the form. All employees that are authorized to receive for their department will need to provide the All Cash Receipting Department form with signatures. Once received, this will authorize them to receive a receipt book from the Bursar's office. Cash receipting includes, but not limited to, all monies, cash, checks, credit cards, etc., accepted on behalf of the university. The last important document to be familiar with are the receipts and the receipt book. Once authorized, you may pick up the book from the Bursar's office. As we mentioned under the policies and procedures, there are 3 copies of the receipts. The original receipt, yellow copy, is issued to the individual from whom the fee is collected. The second copy, pink, of the receipt is scanned in sequential order and attached via PeopleSoft deposit process. And the third copy, blue copy, of the receipt book is retained within the department. Now that we have gone through the documents related to PeopleSoft deposits, we will follow the steps outlined in the guideline. Please refer to your guide at any time to see additional helpful information outside of this training. The steps provided are followed by the university departments for depositing funds using the PeopleSoft application. Once deposits have been completed and submitted through PeopleSoft, they are to either be delivered or mailed to the Bursar's office. To create a deposit, you have to first navigate to the PeopleSoft system. In this case, I went straight from the university's website to sign in. You may have this as a bookmark already on your computer, so you can easily navigate it from there. In this case, I'm going to log into PeopleSoft, and this should direct me to the home screen, which you'll see here. You may actually have it where it goes straight to your favorites, different components. In this case, I want to show you from this screen. So I'm going to navigate to the main menu, go to USC Enhancements, USC Regular Deposits, and then Regular Deposits. It's going to take you to the Search Criteria page. Here, if you already had a deposit created, you can search by various different things. In this case, I don't have a deposit already created, so I'm going to start a new one. You'll navigate to Add New Value. As you can see here, I have 2 components that are already grayed out. It's already pre-filled for me. I'm a Columbia employee, so I have SC Columbia. If you're Aiken, upstate, you'll see something different. So just make sure you're showing the right campus for you. Okay, so we're going to hit Add. And what we'll see here is something that looks just like that transmittal that we initially talked about in the beginning of this training. It's just a more electronic form of it. I'm going to start here and make sure I'm logged in as myself versus someone else. I'm going to input my entry operator department number, which will be my department. And great thing about PeopleSoft, it kind of helps you along the way. So I'm the Bursar's office, so I'm good. Now, I've already done the hard part, and I've already counted all my money and made sure it's all correct. I do recommend you do this several times. Definitely if you're new to creating deposits and receiving in PeopleSoft, make sure you count your money and it's accurate for you. If you have an ad machine in your office, type up the checks and make sure they're good. Do it twice, get 2 tapes from it. In this case, I have $100. So I'm going to indicate that I have $100 in my deposit account. Okay, in my payment type, I can choose various different payment types. So maybe I have $50 in cash, $50 in checks. I'll do so. In this case, I do not, but I'm going to go ahead and show you how that looks. So here I have $50 in cash, and there's a little plus sign. So I'm going to add that, and I'll do $50 in checks. In your brain, it tells you, go ahead and save that. Well, in PeopleSoft, it doesn't like that quite yet. There's a couple of steps you have to do first. And again, you can do as many of these payment type drop down, so you'll add all the checks together. Maybe you had several
transactions for Visa, you add all that together before you move on. In this case, all I had is cash and checks, so I'm going to move on, and it's going to tell me, hey, you need to go do something else. Make sure you're following the guideline, definitely if it's new to you working in the system. So I'm going to go to my deposit reference. Deposit reference is just like a little breadcrumb for you, for yourself or anyone else that may look at this. Just in case there's any ever audits for you, you'll know 6 months down the line, what did I do that $100 for? This will tell you exactly what the case is. So in this case, I'm just going to hit test and keep moving. Now I can go ahead and hit save because I've done the deposit reference in which the system likes us to do. Alright, now that that's saved, I'm going to go ahead and find my attachments. Attachments can be anything from your receipts. You want to make sure you have that in the system where you have a digital copy. It can be an invoice, correspondence. Just make sure you're not putting any personal information in the system. You know, things that you don't want other people to see, or personal information, socials, full credit cards, things of that nature should not be saved in this system as attachments. But I do have an attachment, so I'm going to find it. In this case, you can add as many attachments as you need. There's that good old plus sign again. So you can hit plus, 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 how many attachments you have. Or if you've done all your attachments in one file, you can do one and just hit attachment. It's going to help you choose a file that's on your computer. In this case, I already have one there. And I'm going to upload it. Alright, I can go ahead and just view it, make sure I got the right one. So this is a copy of a receipt. In this case, it's not filled out, but in your case, you would actually have filled out receipts. So I'm good with that. I'm going to go back. I'm going to hit OK. So that saves it. So now I've placed in my deposit amount. I have my payment types that equal up to my deposit account amount. And then I've already hit save. I've got my deposit reference. I have my attachments. I'm going to next move to hand receipt number range. You should always be giving out hand receipts to your customers, and make sure you keep it in range. Stay in sequential order. Now in the case of maybe you had to void one, you're going to stay in sequential order, but you're going to place that in the deposit reference. In this case, I don't have any, not because I didn't give out any, it's just that this is a test environment, so I'm not going to put any real deposit receipt numbers in this case. I'm going to just hit cancel, but we're going to pretend that we did so. So we have it all set in there. We have our attachments, we have our hand receipts, and we have our deposit reference. Again, if you did a void, you'll place that information in your deposit reference with other information that you want to follow back up for this particular deposit. Now, if you're a business manager, you may have your accounting string. That's where we're moving to next. But maybe you just don't have that information. Maybe you didn't get it, or you're unsure about which account to go in. There is a way that you can find out some accounting information for your department. I do recommend before you navigate from this screen is to write down this number right here, or you can copy it and just kind of keep it handy, because we're going to navigate from this screen and then come back. Again, if you've already got your accounting information, you can kind of skip this step and just hold on a second until we get back to the account entries. If you do need that information for the accounting string, we're going to go to main menu, go to USC conversion, chart field mapping, and COA compose inquiry. I'm going to hit no, because we're aware that we didn't finish that process, and we're going to start putting in some information that maybe we do know in the crosswalk. You can always open this in a new menu or a new window within your browser, or you can do it just the same way that you just saw me here do it. In this case, I just did it this way, and we can always just come back. So maybe I only have a little bit of information about my department. Again, this will help guide you. Or maybe you have it all in there, but you know these numbers, but you just want to kind of confirm and make sure it's correct. Maybe you got it second from someone else, and you just want to confirm that everything is right. So that's what I'm doing here, putting in all the information that I already have just to find out. In this case, this is the Bursar's office. This information is still good, so I have it. And now I can kind of go back to my deposit and finish my deposit with that accounting. I remember my deposit ID is the easiest way to navigate and find it again. So I saved it, and I'm going to hit search. And again, you can see that it's the same one I did because I have the $250 equal to my $100. So now that I have that accounting string, I'm going to navigate to create modify accounting entries. Now this is where it gets a little tricky. So you've got your accounting information. Now you have to kind of put this money in and say, okay, this is how I want it and where it to go. Make sure you do this in order or it will not work and it'll continue to give you some error message. So in the line amount, you're going to put a negative amount of whatever your total is for your deposit. In this case, I had $100, so I'm going to do a negative 100. This is to offset the cash entry for the controller's office. So I'm going to move on to my next information that I have in regards to where I want these funds to go. And great thing, PeopleSoft kind of helps you, walks you through it until you get right here. So the account information or the account number was not in the crosswalk. This is something that you already have to have. Unfortunately, the Bursar's office doesn't have this number where you should put it at. This is something you're going to get from your business manager. If you have any questions, you can reach out to the controller's office. So I'm going to do this. I'm going to put the general revenue number because I know that's where these funds will go. And then I'll just finish up with my class. If this was a grant account, there would have been some additional information that I would have need to put in there, and you just continue to fill out this section. But let's say that I wanted to put $50 in one account and $50 in another account. Well, there's that plus sign again. So you can add the plus sign and do the same thing again. Do a negative 50 here, negative 50 there, or do a negative 25, negative 25, negative 25, negative 25, and just continue to hit plus signs. So you can break this up into different accounts that you needed to go to. In this case, I only need my $100 to go into this account. So once I place the right account in there and I have my revenue code, I'm going to go ahead and start checking my information. So right here, you'll see what looks like a lightning bolt. This is the create. So I'm going to hit that for the currency detail field to create the cash offset entry. Once that saves, you're going to hit this button, complete. And right there, you're going to go ahead and hit save. And PeopleSoft is checking everything that you've placed in there to make sure it's correct. Alright, you'll see a piece of paper with a magnifying glass. This is your currency details. This is your budget check, okay? We're going to click that and it's going to budget check the system. Alright, it will take just a few moments, so just be patient with the system. Alright, now that that's done, it is budget check. Everything looks good. Now you're going to go to USC deposit page again. Alright, good practice, definitely if you're new to creating these deposits in these PeopleSoft, just check your totals again, make sure the money that you have on your desk equals out, you've checked it twice there, and you've got everything accounted for, your deposit amount is correct based off of what you have, you placed the correct payment types. If you didn't have cash, you had all checks, make sure you did that. You know, you got your attachments, you have your hand receipt number ring, you placed all the pertinent information in your deposit reference. Now we're ready to submit. So we're going to hit ready to submit, and this allows you to now print it. So we're going to hit print, and this is that sheet again that we were talking about in the beginning. This is our deposit transmittal. Looks familiar. Now this deposit transmittal plus all of your money you're going to bring to the Bursar's office. If you have cash, you'll have to actually hand deliver it. If you have checks, maybe treasurer forms, credit card information on the treasurer form, you can actually place that in inter-office mail or regular mail, just as long as there is no cash in the mail, then you're good. So let's say that you have dropped off this deposit to the Bursar's office, but you get back to your office and you realize, hey, that was the wrong accounting information. You just got an email that you placed in the wrong account. So you go back to your office and you realize that, okay, it hasn't been accepted here. You call our office and say, hey, please don't deposit that money yet. It's going into the wrong account. We'll say, okay, we haven't done it yet. You can make the changes and let us know. Either you can come pick it up or you can send us a new transmittal once you make the correct changes. As long as this box is not checked, then you're good to go. In this case, all you need to do is, let's say we weren't back in our account, we are going to search for this deposit again as if we had logged off and logged back in. Great thing, and for me, it's already saved there, so we'll just hit search. We'll go here. The box is unchecked, so we know that the Bursar's office hasn't actually received this yet. We're going to hit reset submit, and this allows you to start making some changes. So in this case, we just need to change the account entries. Alright, so what we're going to do is kind of go in reverse for things a little bit. So in this case, I need to change maybe this account entry. We put it the wrong place or put the money in the wrong place. So we'll hit uncheck complete. allow it to do its thing, and we know. Then you hit save, go back to USD deposit page, come back into it to let it reset itself, and you'll see a little button that says delete. It's a little white piece of paper with a red X. So we're going to hit delete, and what this does is just open up these distribution sequences again so we can make those necessary changes for this accounting string. Or maybe we need to add another accounting string and break this money up. We have the ability to do so at this point. Once we've done that, and we're going to pretend like it did, once we've done that, we're going to just do everything back again. We're going to create, we're going to complete, and we will save, and then budget check. Alright, it's just checking again, make sure all things are good. And we'll go back to USC deposit page, and you're just going to hit ready to submit one more time, and it allows you to print that new transmittal. Now with that transmittal, you can email that over, you can hand deliver it, or you can call and say, hey, I've made the changes, can you print the transmittal for me and place it with the deposit? It's all good to go now. We can do so and go ahead and get that receipted for you. But let's say you get back and you realize those checks that you turned in are not your checks. That belongs to a different department. In that case, you need to come pick up the checks, so you come back to our office, you pick them up, we'll give them back to you the way you gave it to us in their envelope, and you go back to your office. As long as it's not checked here, Bursar accepted means that we've already received it. If we received it, that means you have to do a JE and work with the other department or work with your department to get funds in the correct place. In this case, that hasn't happened, so we're going to hit reset submit, and we're just going to hit the delete button. We're going to delete the complete deposit, and we're going to give the money to whom it belongs to. Once you hit that and you place in your little breadcrumbs, your information about why you're deleting this deposit, unfortunately you can't go back to it. If it comes back that those checks were indeed yours, then you have to create a new deposit for it.
Now that we've done our deposit in the PeopleSoft system, there's a couple of important information to go over. When you have credit card transactions, 2 copies of the completed treasure form with closeout slips must be attached. Treasure forms must include the amounts by card type, department name, total, and prepare the form. 2 adding tapes should be included with all check batches. Per policy FINA 4.10, receipt and handling of university payments, when you accumulate amounts received total $50 or more, the deposit must be made no later than the following business day. When the accumulated amount received are less than $50, deposits within 1 week time period. Due to the risk of loss or theft, funds should not be retained by any department unnecessarily. Hand receipts should be provided for payment. Hand receipts are supplied by the Bursar's office. Contact us regarding authorization for hand receipt distribution. Hand receipts should be distributed in sequential order. Voided receipts should be notated in the deposit reference field. Check, money order, and cardholder database payments, regardless of function, must be paid to the University of South Carolina. Make sure that you get your PeopleSoft access form turned in to have access to the system to create deposits. If you have checks, make sure you're doing a for deposit only stamp immediately upon receipt. Contact our office to obtain restrictive endorsement stamp if you do not already have one for your department. If you have any other questions, do contact our office between 8:30 and 5 o'clock. You can email us at thebursar@mailbox.sc.edu or just give us a call. Thank you.